Bonsai. I'm the Cobra Kai Kid, and today I am joined by Dan Ahdoot, who plays Anoush on Cobra Kai. Thank you so much for coming on the channel, Dan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. I'm so glad that you had me. I want to apologize to everyone who's on here for the schedule changes and whatnot. You know, when you're number 17 on the call sheet on Cobra Kai, you live a very hectic life, and so sometimes scheduling messes up. But we made it. We're here. Let's do it.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And for those of you watching right now, we are live. I usually don't do the live interviews, but for this one, I thought it'd be fun because Dan, you have a book.
I do. I
You
have a book. I wrote a book, Drew. Can I call you Drew, or do we not call each other by our real names on this show?
Well, you're Anoush, right?
I am Anoush.
You are Anoush.
You are Cobra Kai Kid.
Or Falafel Phil, whatever one.
Yeah, whichever one floats your boat. On this show, I'm either Falafel Phil or Anoush, and you are Cobra Kai Kid. Yes, I have a book that just came out. I'm really excited about. It's the reason I reached out to you, because I think that the fans of Cobra Kai have so many wonderful outlets and ways to watch us, but this is a way to watch us in a different way. So I don't know. I thought of you right away because I know that the Miyagi verse, you've got your tentacles in there, and I thought it was a good way to reach out to fans of the show. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We're gonna get into the book. We're gonna talk about Cobra Kai. We'll talk about Kickin' It. I'm sure a lot of people out there know about that. But before we get into it, I don't know if everyone out there knows this, but you and I actually met in June of 2022 at the Cobra Kai concert.
We did. We were at the Cobra Kai concert. I thought you were a crazy person. I thought you were a crazy fan. I said, who let this man in the building? And then little did I realize, I think it was you were taking pictures with Leo, and like you were taking pictures with all the musicians, and they were like, oh no, he's legit, man, he's legit. I'm like, all right, cool, we can be friends then, Cobra Kai Kid.
I remember like you came down like during the I think it was like the last song, and you put your arm around me and you're like, encore.
Yeah, I was pretty drunk by then, Drew. Okay, we don't have to get into that, but I was pretty hammered by then. And you and I were best friends at that point.
Yeah.
And I was screaming encore, and they were like, no, damn, we have no more songs, we're done. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I see a guitar back there. You play?
You know, I play a little bit. It's a little bit more decoration though than play. But yeah, I've been known to tickle the strings. Do people call it tickling the strings? I don't think so.
I don't know.
But we're starting that expression. It's a new thing we're starting.
They could have had you get up there and play like maybe an Anoush theme.
I mean, dude, I would be able to play like Mary Had a Little Lamb, and that's about it. It was not the right vibe for that show.
Oh god. What are you a big fan of the Cobra Kai soundtrack? Is that why you went to the concert and Zach and Leo?
Yes, I am I'm like absolutely obsessed with, well, I am a musician. I play the piano, like that's like my main instrument, but I play a bunch of instruments, and I'm so obsessed with the music from Cobra Kai, and I love musicians in general. Like I don't like actors, to me, are not as exciting as musicians, as writers, as chefs. And I remember the first time I met Zach and Leo, I was like, I came in hot, Drew. I came in hot. I was like, we need to be best friends. And they were like, what? Okay. All right, cool. And I meant it. I invited them over for lunch. You know, I cooked for them. I love those guys. And I think what they do is so amazing, bringing life to that show. The show is amazing on its own, but the music just like brings it to another level.
1000%. I couldn't agree more. It was a great night, and I'm glad. I mean, at the Troubadour too. Wow.
Yeah, it was a perfect night. It was so much fun.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I actually
How many people are on, by the way? I can't see the numbers. How many people we got on?
we have 45 people on right now.
45 people.
45
Hello, 45
people.
people. How are
45
you?
people. Can you see the chat, by the
Wait,
way?
can I? I don't know. You tell me.
Do you see a button that says comments
I
on your
see.
screen? There should be something that says comments.
I want to see it. Hold on. Oh, private chat comments. Boom. There we go.
Comments. There you go.
Cobra Kai's cool. What's Dan background? Surname Ahdoot sounds Middle Eastern. I don't know what else to say. Hello, Jesus. Hi. Ah ha ha ha. Hello. Ah ha ha. Hi. Hello. Everyone who says hello, hi. You don't have
Hi.
to write hello. We're here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hello.
and guys, if you have questions throughout the interview, feel free to comment them below. Dan, if you see a comment or a question that speaks to you, feel free to call it out.
I will actually. There's one that's very interesting, which is let's see. R4M_845 asks, what's Dan's background? The surname Ahdoot sounds Middle Eastern. I am Middle Eastern. It is Iranian last name, and it's specifically an Iranian Jewish last name because I'm an Iranian Jew, and Iranian Jews are very, very, very tiny subset of the population. And actually some fun Cobra Kai trivia. Anoush's last name in the show is Norouzi. Norouzi is also an Iranian Jewish last name because Josh Heald, one of the creators of Cobra Kai, married Deb Norouzi, and now Deb Heald. But so he gave me his wife's maiden name on the show.
Wow, that is really interesting.
That's a cool little Cobra Kai trivia no one really knows.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw when I searched up when you search up Cobra Kai Anoush on the Wikipedia page, it does have the last name, but I was like, where did we hear that? But now we know.
Yeah, now you know. Now you know. And actually, Josh Heald's wife Debbie is like one of my very good friends. I really love her. In fact, fun behind the scenes Cobra Kai story. Josh was away shooting Cobra Kai, and Deb called me because there was like a sound in the attic. And she's like, hey, there's something in the attic. I don't know what it is. There's a sound the house is making. I don't know what to do. Meanwhile, her cousin, my cousin, different guy. We're also kind of related in a weird way. All the Persian Jews know each other. He's like a real estate guy. And I'm like, why don't you call him? She's like, well, it's Friday night. I figured he's busy with his family. I'm like, oh, do you think I'm just like a lone loser that has nothing to do on a Friday night? And she was right. I had nothing to do. So I helped her with the with the sound.
What was it?
It was something with her, like with the heating or air conditioning. It wasn't a big deal. But that's just to say that I love the Norouzi side of my last name.
So you and the Healds are close.
Very close, very close. In fact, I'm having a book party tomorrow night, a book release party, and they will be coming, which is going to be cool.
Oh, awesome. That's so nice. That's great.
I think all the guys will be there, which will be fun.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, so I do want to talk to you about your book, Undercooked. We got it right here. There it is.
There it is.
Oh,
technology.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Let me, how do I?
Other way. Yeah, it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
I got my copy right here.
Oh, yeah. I got mine right here.
Hey. Maybe you could like virtual sign mine.
I should. I know. I will when I see you next. I promise.
Awesome. Yeah. So now, for those of you who don't know, the book has been out for today is exactly a week. So I know, like, looking at your Instagram and all your posts, it's been a very busy week for you, very eventful. So walk me through what this week has been like, and the reception ever since releasing Undercooked.
So it's been a crazy week. The book is doing really well. It's on the bestseller list on Amazon under like the cooking memoir section and like the cookbook section, all the food related stuff. We're top of the charts, which is really amazing and humbling and awesome. But yeah, it's very different from everything that the Cobra Kai universe is used to seeing me as. It's basically it's a memoir. It's my life through food, because food is a huge part of my life, and it's been, in a weird way, a big part of my career too. It's it's followed me every step of the way. And it's just really, I think, funny one-off stories that also have heart. But it took me it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my career, and the most gratifying. And I just love that people are loving it. It makes me really, really happy, because it's weird. It's a different thing everything I've ever done. So it's cool, man. I'm very excited that people are liking it.
Yeah, for sure. I love a lot of stuff about it, and I think one of the things I love most is like when I'm reading it, it's like I'm getting a sense of who you are because you're telling it like it sounds like you're actually speaking because that is that how you intended to write it?
I 100% did. I did not want it to be too polished. I didn't want it
Mhm.
to read like a, because I feel like so many books that I read, people are just trying to sound a lot more fancy than they actually are. And so I made it very like conversational. And I'm glad you said that, because like, yeah, people are saying that it sounds like I'm talking to them, which is awesome. Which also, there is an audiobook, so I can actually be talking to you. But yeah, man, that was like as a comic, I feel like as a stand-up comic, like, we like to speak in ways that people can relate to on stage. So I was like, why do it any differently in a book?
Yeah. So how did this book come to be? What was the process of creating it? How long did it take? When did you first come up with the idea?
So I Okay, so I follow this guy. He's a hunter and a journalist, and he's got a show on Netflix called Meat Eater, and his name is Steve Ranella, and he's got like the #1 hunting podcast in the country. So I reached out to him because I go hunting, and I wanted to like share some of my stories, because I'm not a typical hunter. I didn't grow up hunting, and I just thought it'd be fun to share my stories. And he loved the letter that I wrote to him, told me to fly to Montana to go and do the podcast with him. So I flew to Montana. I did the podcast, and it did really well, because again, I'm like a Jew from New York. Like, I'm not a hunter type. And people really liked it. And my manager listened to it, and she was like, "Why don't you write a movie based on your hunting stories?" So I tried to write a movie, an outline of a movie. We both didn't really like it. And she said to me, "Why don't you just write about why you like food so much?" And I was like, "I like food because it's delicious." And she's like, "No, no, no. No one gets on a plane to fly to Montana to do a podcast just because they want to talk about hunting or food or whatever." So I wrote this free writing like essay about why I like food. And it was, I related it to my upbringing and my family and whatnot. And it ended up becoming the first chapter in the book. And she was like, "This can be a chapter in a book. Do you have a couple more chapters in you?" So I wrote a couple more chapters. And then next thing I know, my agents took it. They loved it. They sold it to a publisher. And suddenly I had to write a book, which I had never done before. But it took me a little over a year to write it. And it was super intense, because I'm not used to doing things where I'm not getting instant feedback.
Mm.
Like stand-up comedy, you get feedback right away, or just like everything, you get feedback right away in my career. But this was just like, it was you're just writing by yourself and then hoping the world ends up liking it a year and a half later, you know? So it was a real tough, weird thing to do, but thankfully people are liking it. So but that's the story of how it got made, though. It was not, I never intended to write a book. This is the last thing I thought would be a part of my career.
Yeah, and what's so cool is it's like a combination of your love for food and also it's like an autobiography and the way you tie it in together is
Yes.
pretty amazing. Like you talk about you mentioned like growing you mentioned everything about growing up. You mentioned stand-up comedy, kicking it, Cobra Kai. You mentioned it all while tying back to that overall theme of how food has affected everything.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of people in the comments now writing Falafel Phil, which there's a huge there's a big chapter in the book about how Falafel Phil came to be and how that process was, and what that ended up being like. And it's funny because a lot of people who see me and recognize me from Cobra Kai also are in the age range of, they grew up with Falafel Phil.
Yeah.
And so it's like, they're like, does this guy only do like karate based? So I love the fact that the fans are like, that those fans have come up and now they're Cobra Kai fans because it's about the right demographic. But yeah, I talk a lot about what that's like and what it's like to act in Hollywood and how your first job is always pretty crappy. Cobra Kai is like the luckiest I've ever been in Hollywood because it's the most fun job. It's the coolest people. Everyone watches that show, and it's amazing. But it doesn't always start out like that. It takes a lot of work to get to something like that.
Yeah, and your role on the show is so cool because you're not necessarily involved in the karate drama, but you're a part of Daniel LaRusso's car dealership team. Like it's a different avenue of the show, but like there's so much good stuff there with Amanda and Louie. Like I love that aspect.
Yes, it's very fun. I mean, it's the comic relief part of the show in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
And it's funny because me and Brett, who plays Louis, we knew of each other before Cobra Kai started, but we didn't know each other. And we just met on the show. And then we ended up, becoming really close, really good friends. And we started touring together and doing a lot of shows together as stand-up comics. And Courtney is the nicest, funniest person Courtney is the funniest person on set, 100%. And then Ralph and I have to be able to say that you become friends with Ralph Macchio is like the best thing ever, So it's just all been really surreal and really cool. And I love that that's our part of the world. It's like not the high drama. It's like the fun kind of shenanigansy part of such a dramatic world.
Yeah. And speaking of Courtney, yeah, even at the Live and Badass event in LA, like just hearing her talk, like I never realized and seeing some of her interviews, I was like, oh my gosh, she's hilarious. Do you guys like have you ever mentioned like stand-up comedy to her? Because I feel like she would be great at it.
I mean, I think that she would be great at it. I mean, she's so funny, she's so commanding, she has good stage presence. And I don't know, man. I'm just like, I always get such a kick out of her. She's got such a crass sense of humor and she's doing Broadway right now, I think, right?
Yeah, she's on Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, an
Yeah,
off-Broadway show in New York City.
that's wild. So yeah, I mean, she's doing her thing. She's doing her thing, but I mean, she definitely needs to act in a comedy after Cobra Kai. She's so funny.
100%. Definitely. Yeah, so going back to Undercooked, I am curious, how did you come up with the title?
I actually didn't come up with the title. My publisher
Oh.
did. The original title was going to be Lost Soul, which the word soul spelled like the fish, SOLE, which was
Mm.
kind of dumb. You'd have to explain the title to everyone.
Yeah.
But Undercooked is based off of one of the chapters where me and my ex were at the number one restaurant in the world in Italy, and we ordered it was like a 15-course tasting menu, and one of the courses was this undercooked risotto, and we had this real moment of like, do we return this risotto or do we keep it, and or do we embarrass ourselves? And anyway, we decided to return the risotto, and it was like this crazy embarrassing event that happened. But so the undercooked risotto, I guess, is that was the impetus for the title.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's also like a double entendre thing. It's like, my what do you want to call it? My upbringing was kind of undercooked. It was stunted.
Mhm.
And so I thought it worked really well. I like it. I like the title. I love the cover of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Has anyone gotten the book in the comment section? Has anyone gotten the book yet? Has anyone read the book yet? Has anyone bought the book since we started talking?
Yes, yes. Guys, I have a link in the chat. If you have not ordered the book, I put the link to Penguin Random House. Are you familiar with that website?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I got mine off of Amazon.
Yeah.
Where do you know where people are usually getting their books from? Like, do you hear?
I mean, I don't really care as long as you're buying the book. I know we're supposed to say go to the independent bookstore, the mom and pop, But pressing a button on Amazon is really easy, and it comes to your door. So
Yeah, I want to go to a bookstore just to see it, even though I already like I just want to go and see it there because I remember I was at the airport and I'm like looking and little behold I see Waxing On Ralph Macchio. That was pretty
yeah,
cool.
that was awesome. I know it's funny because like I'm seeing that in some bookstores they're putting my book and his book next to each other,
That's so awesome.
which is so cool.
So
Which is so cool. Yeah.
so General Obvious says he'll check it out.
Thank you, General Obvious.
Relectify, I have to get it. Cobra Kai
Amazing.
Wisdom has the book.
Cobra Kai Wisdom. Thank you. I
Pro
will get the
Layer,
book.
I will
Yeah.
get the book.
Wow. We're doing it.
Yeah, okay. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna actually put a link in the chat right now to the book. Get your copy of Dan's new book. Someone asked how to get. I'm putting it in the chat right now. I'll put it
I
in
mean, I wonder if the Amazon link is easier for people. What do you
should
think?
I put the Amazon?
Yeah, it's probably easier.
I'll put
for
the
people.
Amazon. I feel like
Put the Amazon.
more people might be on Amazon. Okay.
I have a feeling more people are on Amazon than the Penguin Random House website. Oh, also, please rate the book on Amazon, guys, if you don't mind. That helps a lot too. But yeah, I think it's also like cool if you're into food. Like there's a lot of fun food stuff in the book. There's food stuff, there's acting stuff, there's how to sell TV shows in Hollywood stuff. There's a relationship stuff. There's Falafel Phil. The Falafel Phil stuff is intense. There's a whole chapter based off of Falafel Phil that's probably going to get me canceled from Disney, but still, the people need to know.
Okay. I'm putting it.
Homicide Extreme. That's a very aggressive name that you have, Homicide. I feel like we need to change your name.
Yeah. I just put the link in the
There we
pin
go.
chat. So guys, go check out the book. And yeah, leave a review. And yeah, the link is right there.
Love
So
it.
there we go. There we go. What as the author of the book,
Yeah.
when people start to read, what would you say is your personal favorite chapter? And what are you most excited for people to read? What chapters should they be looking forward to most in this?
That's a great question. Honestly, I think I mean, it sounds cheesy to say this, but there is something for everyone. Like there's a hunting chapter about hunting elk that is very intense if you like to read about hunting, and also if you don't, because it's such a crazy, insane sort of journey of what happens on that trip. It was probably one of the craziest trips of my life. That's pretty cool. I love the chapter about my grandmother because I get to talk about Persian cooking and Persian cuisine and what it's like to be Iranian and American, which is pretty cool. I just love. I don't know. It's like you're asking me who's my favorite child. Now I've never had children, but I'm assuming they're hard to pick which one. But each one brings me a really different joy, which is just awesome. But yeah, I mean, they're very like I tried to make it funny. There's footnotes all over the book, which are like really fun. Like literally, you can just turn to any page, and there's gonna be a footnote on the bottom.
I love that.
Like it's like just a very fun way of just like joking around with the readers. So I don't know. I really I like how the book turned out. People are loving it. The reviews are great. So yeah, I'm stoked about it.
Was that your decision to do the footnotes?
Yeah, dude. I read this book. I stole it from someone. I'm not gonna lie. But I read this book called What If, which is like a really fun book. It's like taking these hypothetical situations and the scientist is like tells you like what would happen if. So like, what if the sun didn't shine for 24 hours? What if I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. It was like what if Yeah, like what if a volcano exploded? What if like 10,000 volcanoes exploded at the same time? Like weird hypothetical things. And he used footnotes so much, and it was so much fun. I thought it was like such a fun little thing. So I totally stole it from him. I don't think I gave him credit in the book. I should have. If you're watching, man who wrote that book, I don't even remember his name, but thank you for giving me that. I appreciate it.
That's great. And Robert says, bought the book, one of the best I've read.
Whoa. Amazing. Robert, thank you.
That's awesome.
That's very cool. I love it. Yeah, I mean, look, people are liking it. People are enjoying it, and it makes me happy, man, because it's like, again, it's like being an actor, you do other people's lines, like you read other people's lines that they wrote. So being able to write your own thing is really cool because you get to do your own stuff. It's like you're your own writer. So I don't know. I love that people are loving it. UFC We Supreme says Louis' sister is hot. Now, this is not why we're here. Okay, we're here to talk about my book, not Louis' sister, Ralph Macchio's daughter, being hot. Okay, she's a lovely lady. Okay, we will not just reduce her to her looks, although they are great. That is not what this is about. This is about my book. Bro dated Louis' sister. Homicide Extreme. This is not about me and Louis' sister. Okay? Jeez. Come on, guys.
Does anyone in the chat even know her name?
Good question.
Let's quiz the chat.
Does anyone know her name? Without Googling. Do not Google it. You got to give your answer in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow.
Nothing. Well, there is a little bit of a delay, to be fair.
Okay, we'll give them the delay. Kojar Art says, I'm not into books, but I guess I'll have to buy one. Oh, wow. Julia. A lot of people. All right. Here
Someone said her name is Louis' sister.
Yeah. Okay. That is. Someone says Vanessa. Nope. That is the wrong character.
Definitely not it.
Shauna Proctor says, I will get your book. Is that your real name? Shauna Proctor?
You can't ever know. A lot of people in the chat are saying Falafel Phil, which is very interesting because this is Cobra Kai Kid. So it's like they know you from Falafel Phil from Kickin It.
Dude, I'm telling you, Falafel Phil will follow me around for the rest of my life. I can post about anything on my Instagram, on TikTok. Every single comment is just going to be Falafel Phil, Falafel Phil, Falafel Phil. It's literally like let's go on. I'll show you right now. Let's go on TikTok.
Let's do it.
Going on my TikTok, which is also Stand Up Dan.
Here, I'll put it here.
Here we go. Look at any of these videos and just look at the comment section. And it's all just Falafel Phil, Falafel Phil, Falafel Phil. Yeah. See? Everything. Falafel Phil. Falafel Phil.
It has nothing to do with Falafel Phil.
I love Kickin It. Falafel Phil. We love Falafel Phil. Kickin It. Falafel Phil. Oh, there it is. Falafel Phil. I mean, it's all Falafel Phil all the time, baby.
Even if it has nothing to do with Falafel Phil.
Even if it has nothing to do with Falafel Phil. I could do like a real heartfelt, sad, like, my grandmother died, and they'll be like, Falafel Phil. We love Falafel Phil.
And do you embrace it? Do you like all these years later, like how does it feel like, that's what you're known for?
It took me a while to embrace it. I think I needed to do other stuff and become successful in other stuff before I could embrace it, because I was like, man, I can't go down as Falafel Phil. That can't be the last thing that I'm known for. So thankfully, Cobra Kai came around, writing the book came around. I do, my podcast, Green Eggs and Dan. So I finally found my own path that is independent of Falafel Phil. So because of that, I can totally enjoy Falafel Phil. And I love doing the voice for people when I meet people, or, the character. It's fun now. It was dark for me for a while because I was just like, man, I'm just known for this hacky Middle Eastern character. And I needed more. In fact, I think Falafel Phil was gave me momentum to succeed at other things, because I was just like, I can't go down as Falafel Phil.
Yeah, well,
You know?
I think it's really interesting because you do hear a lot of stories with actors who, they have that one role that everyone knows them for, and then that's it. They don't really become known for other stuff. And while I mean, Falafel Phil is like, it just goes to show like that show was huge and the
Yes.
character was so beloved. But you've also now made a name on Cobra Kai. Now you have your own book, stand-up comedy. Like you're doing a lot of stuff, but it's nice that you're able to embrace it, because I mean, I'm sure if you weren't embracing it, it would be tough hearing that all the time,
Yeah, and look, I mean, I can't deny that even though I had some issues with how Falafel Phil was depicted, like, I can't deny the fact that people just resonated with that character. Like, kids loved that character, and they would lose their minds when they'd see me. And it's like, who am I to argue with like the joy that like children feel? I mean, I know
Yeah.
you guys are not kids anymore who are on this, but like, you were when you fell in love with Falafel Phil. So I think there's something really special about that. So I've embraced falafel since then.
And I actually before I watched Cobra Kai, I was a Kickin' It fan. So when I saw Cobra Kai, I didn't recognize a lot of the faces, and then boom, you showed up. Falafel Phil.
You know what's crazy is someone on TikTok did like Disney stars on Cobra Kai thing that like would show like, Peyton was in a Disney show. Everyone was like in a Disney show. And they didn't put me in it. I was like, you fuckers, I'm fucking Falafel Phil. I'm iconic. How did I not make this?
I'm fucking Falafel Phil.
Yeah. Fucking Falafel Phil's iconic, yo. Sure, it was Disney XD, but still.
Wait, who did they have on there? They had Peyton.
Peyton was in Disney.
Mary Mauser was in like
Mary
a movie.
was on it.
I think Jacob Bertrand was on something Disney. I don't know. I'm surprised I
don't know.
didn't put you on it.
Yeah, man. I am it broke my little heart. It broke my little heart. But you know what? I know. The fans know. Pro Layer knows. Shauna Proctor knows. A lot of questions here. I remember you gave girl advice on the show Atypical. Yes, I was in the pilot of Atypical. That is right. Let's see. Dan, it's okay. I'll make you one and add you.
There you go.
It's okay. I'll make one. Oh, okay. Cute.
Also, I'm curious your thoughts on this one. UFC says Louis is hot like his sister. What do you think about that?
I will tell you this. Brett Ernst is a handsome man. He actually used to be a model. If you
really
Google Brett Ernst modeling photos, it's hilarious. Like there's like one with his six-pack and everything.
I'm searching this up right now. Oh my god.
You gotta show it. Share the screen.
I'll share the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to see this.
Look at that. Hell yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad.
I didn't know he was ripped like that. When was that?
I mean, he must have been like in his early 20s then. He was definitely a little heartthrob, that guy.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that's us. That's hilarious.
That's great.
Yeah, so Louis is hot. I still haven't seen anyone write Anoush is hot. I'm still waiting for that. Still haven't seen that though.
Have you gotten any of those comments? Because you know that sometimes the Cobra Kai fandom can be a little wild with the fan fictions. Like, is there any Anoush lovers like that?
I hear that there's a lot of Anoush and Amanda LaRusso fan fiction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that that Daniel LaRusso isn't at the shop enough because he's spending too much time at the dojo. So Amanda and Anoush have all this time alone to themselves. What are they gonna do?
I have not heard that one before.
Oh yeah, it's around. It's definitely around.
While Daniel's doing the karate, you're swooping in and making moves.
Swooping in, making moves. I gotta tell you guys, because again, the book is a food book, but I have a very funny food story of what happened with me and Ralph Macchio. If you'd like to hear it.
Yes, let's hear it.
Okay, this was really funny. So, Ralph and I have become friends, and he's a fan of my food stuff. Like he knows that I post a lot about food on my Instagram at @StandUpDan, and so he's become a fan of all my food stuff. And he'd always say, "Hey, if you're back in New York, let's go out, let's go meet up, let's go, have some dinner." And I would text him. Famous people, they say this a lot, and they don't really mean it. So I would text him when I'd be in New York, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm not around, I can't do it," And once I texted him and he was like, "Oh, I'm in town. Let's do it." I'm like, "Really? Okay." And he's like, "Yeah, meet me at the steakhouse at in Long Island." I'm like, "All right, sounds good." So it's the morning of our dinner, and he sends me a picture of a wine. It's called a Sassicaia. It's an Italian wine that is probably like $500 a bottle. And he's like, "Just took this out of the wine cellar for you. We're going to have such a great time tonight." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. Like, I'm obsessed with that wine. That's going to be nuts." So I do the classy move, Drew. I go and get to the steakhouse 15 minutes before our dinner. And I walk in and I go to the hostess and she's like, "Hi, do you have a reservation?" I was like, "Yeah, table for 2." And she's like, "Under what name?" I was like, "I think it's under the name Ralph Macchio." And she's like, "Oh my God, yes, of course, Mr. Macchio. Hold on one second." And then the manager comes over and he's like, "We're huge fans of Cobra Kai. We're so excited that you're here. We love that you chose our restaurant." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm excited too. But listen, man, listen. Here's my credit card. I'm paying for dinner tonight." And he's like, "Oh, but this is Mr. Macchio's favorite restaurant." I was like, "I don't care. You don't understand. He brought me this bottle of wine. He's bringing this wine. Under no circumstances is he paying. I'm paying. I don't want to fight. I don't want anything. This is my credit card. Take it." He's like, "Okay, you got it." Ralph walks in. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio in a restaurant in Long Island, it's like Long Island Jesus just walked into the restaurant. People start losing their minds, okay? And they come in and start taking pictures with him, and he's so nice and classy. He takes pictures with everyone. And the manager ferries us off to our table, and Ralph has this little like a little a tote bag that has it's made for holding wine, and he takes the wine out, and everyone comes around the table. They can't believe this bottle of wine is in their restaurant. And the sommelier opens the wine, pours it out for me, pours it out for Ralph, pours a little for himself. We each go like this, sniff the wine, take a sip, and right away we can all tell the wine is completely ruined. It's corked. It just wasn't stored well. It tasted like vinegar. It was awful.
Oh my God.
And so Ralph is like, "Oh my God, it's corked, Dan." And I was like, "I know. It's awful." He's like, "I'm so embarrassed. I wanted to show you good food and good wine. Don't worry. I'm going to make up for it. Johnny, bring me the wine list." And I'm like, "Oh no. Oh no." Because I'm paying for this dinner. And I'm like, "What? Oh, this is awful." So the guy brings the wine list over, and Ralph is like, "What do you think? How about this wine? It's $400, or maybe this one. It's $700. It's probably drinking really well." And I'm like, I don't think it's the wine that matters. It's just the company that you keep. Like maybe this $20 bottle is fine." And he's like, "Ha ha ha, real funny, Dan." So he's like, "Let's ask the sommelier." And the sommelier comes over and he's like, "Ralph, you're gonna think I'm crazy. All right, that $400 bottle is great. The $700 bottle one is great, but we have a bottle that is drinking so well, and it's only $190 a bottle." And he's like, "Really?" As in, like, how could a $190 bottle of wine taste good? And I was like, I don't know. If he says it's good, let's try it." So we get the $190 bottle of wine. It's awesome, obviously, and then he's like, "Dan, I'm gonna show you the best food. He's like ordering like crazy. He's like, "Let's get the caviar, let's get the lobster, let's get the ribeye for 2," out of generosity, because he thought he was paying for this dinner, and then the bill comes, and it comes straight to me, and it's signed and everything. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? What happened? I'm like, nothing, man. This is on me. I get this dinner. It's on me. And he's like, what? No, I wanted to take you out. I wanted to show you Long Island food. I was like, man, don't worry about it. And he's like, wait a second. You saw that picture that I sent you earlier today of the expensive wine. So you came here and gave your credit card. Like a flash went over his face. Like he realized what happened. And I start laughing. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's what happened. And he starts laughing. He's like, that's going to be my move from now on. I'm just going to send pictures of fancy wine. And I was like, you should call that the Macchio. He's like, I totally Macchio'd you. So that became our hilarious thing, is that he Macchio'd me. It was really, really funny because we were both trying to be nice to each other. So it just like, it was a pretty hilarious night.
That is very well. I mean, obviously he wasn't doing it intentional, but hey, the Macchio. I think you just gave an ideas to some people in the chat, maybe.
Dude, he Macchio'd me hard.
You gotta pull a Macchio.
I know. I gotta pull a Macchio. I'm just gonna send people like a $1,000 bottle of wine, and then just like, oh, I left it in the car, and then just hope that they paid.
Oh my god!
Is there yeah? I mean, it was. I'm getting a lot of laugh emojis here. That's good.
Yeah.
Is there any Louis and Anoush fan fiction? I don't know. Is there? There should be.
I feel like there is. I don't go into that rabbit hole, but I feel like there is.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never read the fan fiction. How do you find it? You just Google Cobra Kai fan fiction?
Yeah, I think on like, is it Reddit? I don't know. I feel like if you search, I feel like if you search up Cobra Kai, Anoush, fan fiction, I feel like it could. There could just be like a endless rabbit hole.
My God. Holy cow, there's a lot.
You're finding a lot?
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's like people make stories and stories. It's really cool.
This is hilarious.
Oh By the way, Dan, your character is hot, and Dan, you're hot too from UFC. There you go.
Wow. Thank you, UFC Supreme, WWE Supreme. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm very big in the UFC and wrestling hot categories. So yeah, thank you for knowing what's up.
By the way,
prime Bobby Wasabi or Johnny Lawrence? Who would win in a fight? That's an amazing question. Oof. You know what? I think I'm gonna give it to Bobby Wasabi.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Bobby Wasabi. You know why?
Yeah.
Because Bobby Wasabi let himself go so hard. Yeah. And that only happens to people who were in such a prime that they could not contain it for longer. It's like they focused all of their life energy in that prime and they couldn't hold on to it forever. Johnny Lawrence, still in shape, still looks great, still doing his thing. So if it's prime versus prime, I'm going to go Bobby Wasabi.
Oof. We need a Bobby Wasabi like prequel story. That'd be cool.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
So I actually have a Kickin' It question for you that I just thought of off the spot. I don't know if you know this, but Kickin' It has a lot of similarities to Karate Kid with Wasabi kind of sounding like Miyagi, and the is it the black dragons kind of being like the Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Was there ever a discussion of like, were the writers kind of intentionally trying to mirror Karate Kid with the show?
That is a great question. I don't think they were going for Karate Kid necessarily. I knew that they were going for, there was a movie, I think it's a movie called Bad News Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that was used in the pitch for Kickin' It. But I mean, there's so many Karate Kid aspects to it, right? That there's a lot of like nerds learning how to kick ass.
Yeah.
So, you know, Karate Kid is so inspirational to so many things, whether they know it or not. Like that underdog story, that David and Goliath, like modern day David and Goliath story. It's so like everyone can relate to it, you know? So I would not be surprised if that was definitely part of the you know, of the motivation for it, for sure.
Definitely. And you know, there have been, because there are a lot of Kickin' It fans who watch Cobra Kai.
Mm.
So when it comes to the new seasons, a lot of fans are always wondering like if they're gonna bring in like new fighters, and there have been a lot of discussions about Leo Howard or Olivia Holt or any of those kids from Kickin' It coming into Cobra Kai. Do you is there anyone from the Kickin' It cast who you would want to see come back in the final season of Cobra Kai to be like one of the next students?
Eddie, because Eddie got Eddie wasn't in all of the seasons of Kicking It, so I think it'd be really funny if he came back. I mean, look, honestly, they're all amazing and they could all do it. Leo is obviously the probably the one on everyone's mind. I'm seeing a lot of it there. Yeah, Leo Howard.
Yeah.
You know, he's such a talented martial artist. You know, he's not only karate, he's like a black belt in jiu-jitsu also. Which I don't want to brag, but I have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
But yeah, I think Leo would be the natural fit for sure. I mean, Bobby Wasabi would be amazing.
Oh my god. Hey, with Terry Silver in jail, we need a new villain. Maybe they pull a little twist.
Yeah. Oh, someone asked does that mean that they paid $5 to ask this question?
Yeah, that's a super chat from Talking Straight with Nate. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Nate says, "Welcome, Dan. OG fan, musician by night, utility worker by day. True story. Ralph spotted a coworker of mine reading his electric meter. Best always, guys."
Huh. Interesting. I'm curious what that was about. Was Ralph just snooping around different electric meters? Was it his own electric meter? There's a lot to be left to be said. Is that one of Ralph's weird hobbies, is going around to other houses and comparing his electric meter to their electric meter? It's not the size of your electric meter that matters. Okay, everyone. It's what you do with your electric meter.
Yes.
Okay. I hope that was worth the $5.
Oh my! And I love that Ralph Macchio story. That was great.
Yeah, that story was so funny. Right after it happened, I was like, Ralph, I have to talk about this. This was so funny.
Did you guys click like right off season 1, like right off the bat, or did it take some time to develop that relationship with him?
With Ralph?
Yeah.
You know, it took a while to develop that relationship, which makes sense, right? Because we're not part of the permanent cast, so we're just in Atlanta like a couple weeks out of the year. So everyone else gets to bond. But, you know, he is our boss in the show, and Ralph is like very much a method actor. Like he really like believes like we're his employees in a way. Like he's protective over me and Brett Ernst. And he also loves he likes to be able to laugh, and he likes to be able to, you know, to let loose. And, you know, me and Brett are just like goofballs. So for him, it's just super fun to have us there, and we get along well. And he's also just an enormous foodie. So when he started seeing that I have a food podcast, which he was just a guest on, very funny episode. And when he saw that like I cook a lot and I post it on my Instagram, we started bonding like that. And then we became pretty close. Like we've gone out to dinner a bunch of times. I mean, the guy is like, I've never met a nicer, more humble, famous person. Like someone with that level of fame who's just like so nice and normal and just like loving. He's the best around.
Nothing's gonna ever keep him down.
Nothing will ever keep him down.
And in Cobra Kai season 5, you went on a date not just with Vanessa, but also that's Ralph Macchio's daughter.
Yes.
So what what was that like for you?
Well, here's what's funny about it is that Julia, the actress who plays Vanessa, she's like her dad in that she is very like takes everything seriously when the cameras are off. and she was really getting into this thing of this, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Me and you were boyfriend and girlfriend. So we would be shooting. There was a shot there was the club shot where Louis ends up tackling me on the floor. We were shooting that scene, and then like in between cuts, Julia would just like have her arm around me in front of her dad right there, and I'm like, I'm gonna get written out of the show. He's the executive producer of the show, and but Julia and I became very, very good friends too, and I love her. I love her like a sister. She's so much fun and so funny, and very supportive, and it's nothing but love. It's nothing but love and respect with the Macchios, dad and daughter.
I love that. I thought that scene was absolutely hilarious. And then also when Brett just punched you in the face.
Yeah.
Not out of nowhere, but like kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And then I tackled him, which actually did my own stunt. That was me actually tackling the stunt man. Because of my jiu-jitsu background. They let me do some of my own stunts. I've told this story before, but in season 2, I think it was, where Johnny throws me up against the car. Is that season 2 or season 1?
That was season 2.
Yeah. Throws me up against the car. I got to work that day, and there was another guy there dressed exactly like me. And I'm like, who's this guy? And they're like, it's your stunt man. I was like, I don't need a fucking stunt man. I'm Dan Ahdoot. And they're like, well, do you have any martial arts experience? I said, yeah, I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And they were like, okay, well, you can do the stunt then. I was like, great, let's go. So we do the first scene or the first take of it at like the rehearsal. And let me tell you, William Zabka also takes his acting very seriously. He throws me up against this freaking car and rips my arm off behind my back. And they're like, all right, cut on rehearsal. I was like, whoa, man, that was just that was just rehearsal. Like, no need to. And he's like, you think that was bad? And then we start shooting, and he is just like ripping my arm off. And we probably shot it like 20 times. And by the third time, I was like, can we bring the stuntman back? This is not fun. So anyway, that was me trying to be tough and getting my ass kicked.
Did he really Did he really say you thought that was bad?
Yeah, he's like, oh, really? Okay. Here we go. Get ready. But it was also like, I didn't know William Zabka that well at that point. God. So I'm not going to be like, yo, he's off. Star of the show. So I just let him have his way with me.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a nice guy. But like, yeah, when he's into it, he's in it.
He's in it. He's in it to win it. Seriously.
Oh my God, that's so Johnny Lawrence to be like,
I know.
You thought that was bad? Just wait till we actually start filming.
I mean, he's also the nicest guy in the world, and it's even weirder that he's the nicest guy in the world because he comes off as such a tough asshole on the show.
Yeah.
Just like the sweet, like a very sweet, kind-hearted man. Everyone's really nice. I wish there was one mean person that I could talk shit about on your show, but no, unfortunately, everyone is very, very nice.
Yeah. So in season 5, you got to have some more scenes with other characters, including Vanessa,
Yes.
Chosen,
yes,
Carmen. I'm curious, is there a character or characters that you have not yet interacted with in Cobra Kai that you would like to have a scene with in season 6?
Very, very interesting. I would love to somehow have a scene with the homeless lady who hangs out outside of the shitty pizza deli.
Homeless Lynn.
Yeah, that would be a dream come true.
I love this answer. I need to hear more. Like, why homeless Lynn?
I just think that would be the most random I just think it would be so funny and random if somehow I interacted with her, because I don't even know how they would make that happen, but they'd have to figure it out.
Oh my god. Like I was maybe thinking you were gonna say like Terry Silver or John Kreese, but
No.
I love that. The homeless Lynn.
Homeless Lynn. Everyone else can have their Terry Silver and their Kreese. No, I want homeless Lynn.
Have you ever met Susan Gallagher, who is the actress for her?
No, I haven't.
Do you know what she looks like when she's not in the makeup?
No.
I gotta show you a picture.
When she's not homeless Lynn?
When she's not homeless Lynn, this is what she looks like. And I don't know if you would ever recognize her.
Oh my god.
This is her when she's not homeless Lynn.
Get out.
Yeah.
Wow, she looks like she has a home.
She does.
That's hilarious.
I would love if you guys had I accidentally removed you for a second. Whoops.
I'm here. Have you had her on the show?
I have. I actually have met her in person a couple times. She was funny story with her. Before I made the channel, I wasn't doing anything on the channel, and I saw on Instagram she was doing a meetup in New York City, and I went and I met her, and that was really, really awesome. She was the first Cobra Kai person I ever met, and then after that I started the channel, and then I interviewed her on the channel and all that. So I met her like maybe 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
She's really nice.
Yeah, you go on. You're like this. You're like a stalker on our show that we all love. You're like the stalker that is like, I'm gonna be shooting the next season. I'm gonna go into my trailer, and you're gonna be like in there in my bathroom. I'm gonna be like, hey Drew, just can you hand me the toilet paper? You're gonna be like, yeah, all good, man.
Why does that sound? I mean, why does that kind of sound true?
Oh my god, have they spoken about having you on the show, like on background or something?
Dan, I wish that would be the dream.
That's the dream, huh?
Well, I did get a there was a name drop to me on the show. I'll show you this line. So Anthony LaRusso in season 4, he said this. I actually have a video clip. I'll show you right now.
Okay. Don't worry about this Cobra Kai kid.
Ooh.
Don't worry about this Cobra Kai kid. And I asked Hayden, and Hayden said that when they were in the writer's room, they were writing, and that line came up, and they're like, yeah, Drew's gonna like this.
No way. That's so cool.
So that's as of right now, that's the closest I've been to being on the show. And you know what? That is awesome.
Dude, that is close enough. That's closer than most people can get. That's really cool. Because then you got like a wink wink. That's awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
I have something I want to show you. I don't know if you have seen this, but I recreated the entire first episode of Cobra Kai season 1, episode 1. Have you seen this on YouTube?
I have not.
You've not? Okay. So 3 years ago, I did this project where I recreated the entire first episode, word for word, scene for scene, shot for shot, and I played like all the characters. So I did.
You've got way too much time, I guess, Drew. Do you have school? Drew?
This is what I do when I'm not in school. So this actually took me over a year, this project. And now it sits at over 1 million views on YouTube.
Shut up. Let me see. Is this the meetup? Is this where I come in?
Right now, I am about to show you the scene in the dealership. So I did the whole episode, but I'm about to show you the scene in the dealership where you come in for the very first time. I play you, and I want to get your reaction to it.
OMG, I'm dying. Let's go.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Johnny? Johnny Lawrence! I knew it was you! Holy... How the hell are you, man?
Hey, man.
Oh my
my God, look at you. You still got those golden locks, eh? God, this is crazy. How you been? Great, man, thanks. I've been great. That's great. Hey, Anoush, come here. Move. Get over here. I want you to meet somebody. Oh, no, I gotta go. No. This is Johnny Lawrence. He and I go way back, right, buddy? This guy was the toughest dude in my high school. When I moved here from Jersey, we got into it a little bit. This guy really had it in for me. Yeah, well, he did move in on my girl. Well, she actually wasn't really your girl anymore, was she? I mean... Oh, all right, that's all water under the bridge. Wait, is this the karate guy? The guy from the tournament? Well, this is the guy who was asked to kicked. Well, listen, it was a really close match, but if you want to get technical, I kicked his face. I'm just busting your chops. It was an illegal kick. Oh, illegal? Really? Come on. What about that elbow to my knee? Yeah, I got a warning and you got the win. Whoa. No fighting in the showroom, guys. All right, come on. Back to work. Right, nice meeting you. Let's go. Get back to work.
You got the nice meeting you.
Right?
I watched the scene 1,000 times to get every little detail. I saw the nice meeting.
Dude.
I had to get the nice meeting you.
Wow, that is wild. Because that nice meeting you, that was all like improv, like just like throwing it out. That's so cool that you did that. Holy cow.
Yeah. That was tough. That was tough because
that's badass.
I mean, all of you were in the same shot, but I was like filming it like you're on the side, like
yeah. Who played fake you?
The back of me.
Yeah.
My mom.
Oh my God, I love everything about that.
Oh my God, she put on a wig like
Oh, that is so cool, dude. That's awesome. Your acting is really good, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What did you think about my Anoush?
I loved your Anoush. I thought it was very real. I thought it was very believable. I thought it was yeah, A+ work. I'm worried you're gonna steal my job the next season.
Well, if you need a stuntman,
oh yeah, I'll have Billy Zapka twist your arm into pretzels.
I would be honored.
Oh man.
Oh my God,
is so funny.
I'm so glad you like that. I've wanted to show you that for a while.
I love that you showed me that. That's so cool. By the way, we have a $2 thing. Someone gave $2.
Nate again. Thank you so much, Nate. I met Drew in season before Drew redid the pilot. Yes, Nate was actually there at that meetup. So I did meet Nate like 4 years ago before I even had the channel too. So pretty cool that he's still.
You know, I'll tell you when Brett Ernst and I were doing the Cobra Kai comedy tour and we were going around, we would meet people who would come as a group that had met through Cobra Kai, like fan groups would come to our shows. And they were the nicest people, and it was so fun how interactive they were with the show and how much they loved the show. It was just great. I mean, the show is so interesting because it really does feel like it's kind of straddles like make believe and real life. Like it feels like, you know, people will be like, "What are you? Are you Team Miyagi? Are you Team Eagle Fang? Team Cobra Kai?" Like people take it so seriously. And I just love it. It's such a pleasure to be a part of that world.
Yeah, and I'm curious because you have a lot of like your character has a lot of funny lines, one-liners. Can you talk to me about the comedy in the show that you bring? And like as a comedian yourself, what are your thoughts on how John, Josh, and Hayden have written your character?
Well, okay, those three guys are so hilarious. We're all very good friends outside of the show, and we've known each other for years and years. But you know, their comedy chops are as good as it gets. So, and sorry, burping on YouTube Live. That's the clip everyone's gonna take.
Can't cut that out.
Can't cut that out. But the thing is that with comedy, they also respect my comedy. Like they're all fans of my stand-up. They come to my shows and stuff like that. So I feel like they give me a lot of freedom to just goof around and to try weird lines and to do improvs. You know, like in in the season where the snakes are in the dealership and I jump into Louis' arms, that was a complete improv. That
Oh.
like last minute, I was like, Brett, I'm gonna jump in your arms. He's like, all right, let's do it. and they ended up keeping it. So they let us do all these funny things, and you know, it's very, very like we'll shoot everything like 5 times and just do it different ways each time. It's great, man. It's cool to just have mutual respect, you know.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you improv that scene. I thought one of my personal favorite Anoush Louis moments came from season 1. It was like such a subtle joke, but I found it the funniest thing ever when you know, Robbie first came into the dealership, and I know like you and Louis were kind of like skeptical of him. So he's like working on the popcorn. You come over and you just take one. You're like, too much salt, and then you're talking to him, and then he wants it sure, and then Louis comes in. It's like there's not enough salt.
Right.
Literally the complete opposite. It was like you're just trying to find.
We're just messing with him. Yeah, totally.
I just thought the salt line, that was just genius.
The funny thing is that me and Brett are basically exactly how we are on screen and off screen with each other.
Yeah.
We are literally the same, the same people, the same characters, which is so much fun. I just love that guy. He's become such a close friend of mine.
Yeah. And you guys, not only are you on the show together, but you do stand-up comedy tours. Can you talk about the stand-up and like how that's been going, where you perform, like and maybe any other plans you have coming up?
Yeah, you know, we did it for a while. We've kind of stopped doing it just because he became super busy with his stuff and I became busy with my stuff. But it's so much fun to do. It's like we would basically go to comedy clubs, and I would do 20 minutes, he would do 20 minutes, and then we'd go on stage together and do 20 minutes together, just busting each other's balls like for 20 minutes. And people loved it. It was such a fun show to do. So we'll probably bring it back sometime soon once we chill out a little bit with our workloads.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see you guys together. I actually saw Brett with his comedy show. I think it was in Long Island. I saw him do it, and he was great. He was
really?
amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's as funny as it gets, man. I love that guy.
Yeah. You know, I'm amazed with you and how much you have going on for you, because like, yeah, as we talked about, not only are you an actor, but you're now a writer, you are a musician, you're
Okay.
a jujitsu blue belt, you have a lot. You stand up comedy, so it's like, you know, with balance being one of the themes of Cobra Kai. How do you find balance with all of those things, work and personal life?
That's a great question. I've always strived to, and I always tell people that I try to diversify my comedy portfolio. Okay. Like, this career is so difficult if you're just going to choose one road. So like, people who are just actors, I'm like, how do they do that? It's like, to be able to put all your eggs in that one basket is like such a risky way to live your life. Because you never know what's going to take and what's not going to take. I mean, I've done a lot of shows where on paper you're like, this is going to be the biggest hit, and then it's not, and you're like, oh no, what do I do now? And having that feeling of, oh no, what do I do now, is a feeling I never want to have again in my life, because I've had it before and it sucks. So I try to do 4 or 5 things at the same time, so that when something doesn't work out, I can just go to the next thing. I can focus my energy on something else. And that is the way that I live my career, is just, I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I take on as much work as I can. And, you know, but I also like enjoy, you know, I work hard, I play hard. I love going to restaurants. I love food. I love eating. I like meeting friends and staying social. Like, it's so important for your brain. But within my career, man, it's like each thing feeds a different part of my creative brain. Like stand up for me is just my favorite because it's just me on stage. I get to do what I want. I love acting because I get to play with other people and then be a part of something huge like Cobra Kai. I love podcasting because I get to have a conversation, a one-on-one, like what we're doing right now, which is so much fun for me. And I like now this new thing of writing a book is like, I mean, it's just to be able to just sit down and long form write my thoughts and like think it through. It's almost like a therapy session that I'm trying to make funny for people. So I'm lucky enough that I'm a place now where I have an outlet for every kind of creative voice that I have, you know, ringing in here.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I know the book is fresh. I know
Fresh.
it's fresh. But I gotta ask you, are there any plans, ideas for a possible sequel or other thing? Any other books can we expect? Maybe
There's a couple things with a chapter or two of the book might be turning into a TV show, which is pretty cool. And
don't tell me it's the Falafel Phil TV show.
we're gonna bring back Falafel Phil, baby. And you know, we are definitely talking about another book because this one's doing really well, but you know, we'll see. This just came out, so I'm trying to just enjoy the ride, baby.
Yeah.
You know?
So what do you do? I'm curious, like what do you do now that the book is out and the work is, because I mean there's probably so much work with writing and editing. So what have you been doing now? Is there any other work to do with the book now that's out, or is it just
Not really?
promoting it?
Now it's just promoting it and making sure that people read it or listen to it. The audiobook is really fun, by the way, because I got to narrate it, so I got to do different voices and make fun of people. And yeah, man, it's like all the work is done, and now I get to just like relax and talk about it and just like, you know, not and just take it all in and have a good time with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I'm reading the book itself. I'm not listening to the audiobook, but for the footnotes, how do you incorporate that into the audiobook?
It's a great question because there are a ton of footnotes, and I basically just say it as an aside.
Mhm.
So I don't, because I was like, how the hell are we gonna do this? Am I just gonna say footnote and say it? But no, I just kind of say it as like a cheeky aside and like
Yeah.
a little different voice. Yeah. The Karate Kid 1984 fan says, Dan, I love you. LOL. Why LOL? Why the LOL? Why can't you just leave it at Dan, I love you? Huh?
Yeah, I see that sometimes too. For me, it's like, yeah, what's so funny about that?
Yeah, what's so funny about that?
I don't know.
I love it. Well, Drew, my parents are here, so I gotta run soon. But tell me, like, if you have any other questions, if anyone else has any questions, anyone curious about anything, let me know. This is a tell-all, baby.
Yeah, definitely. Let's wrap it up. If you guys have questions, comment it. I do want to ask you before we wrap it up. Cobra Kai season 6. It's filming soon. I know you're gonna get back into it. 2-part question.
Okay.
First part, are you excited to get back? It's the final season. And also, what do you want to see with Anoush if this is his final season?
Well, first of all, I can neither confirm nor deny that I am going to be in the latest season.
Oh, we know you have to be in it, please.
I don't know. But what would I love to see if hypothetically I was going to be in the next season? I'm telling you, man, me and homeless Lynn, I want us to get together and maybe have some sort of love triangle with me and Vanessa and homeless Lynn, and then we have a spin-off reality dating show that comes out of it. That sounds pretty fun to me. Okay, just spitballing here.
Yeah.
Another part that could be cool is that like maybe Anoush goes out to dinner with his boss and his boss actually picks up the tab. Maybe Ralph Macchio can pick up the tab. I don't know, man. Honestly, those guys are so good at creating plot points and twists and this and that I want them to have at it and do whatever they want with me. But let us not forget that had it not been for Anoush, Cobra Kai would have, or Miyagi-Do would have been completely kaput. Okay, the dealership would have been gone if I hadn't gone to Kohl's and ratted on him. Okay, no one talks about that. I saved this fucking franchise. Okay, no one's ever talked about it on your show, have they, Drew?
They have
No.
not mentioned that.
No, because they're not grateful. They're not grateful. I saved the goddamn show.
Oh my god. Well, thank you for.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
finally,
you.
I'm getting the thanks that I deserve. Can someone
my
please pay
God.
$5 to say thank you?
Oh god. But something that I just thought of. I never
What's
thought
that?
about this before, but like, since it is the last season, I think it's important that they wrap up all the storylines. Let me ask you this. If season 6, if season 6, say like Daniel and
Mhm.
Johnny open up their own brand of dojos and they become really successful with that, and that's their thing. Can we possibly see LaRusso Auto turned over to Anoush, and Anoush is now the leader of LaRusso Auto?
Oh, I don't hate that idea. Because we all know who's selling all the cars at the dealership. Louis not selling shit. Okay? Let's be serious. If you were going to the dealership and you have to deal with me or cousin Louis, you know goddamn well who you'd be coming straight to. Okay? By the way, this is a fun little fact. On my car, I got a LaRusso Auto license plate
No
cover
way.
that's on the back of my license plate.
That's brilliant.
I love it.
That's brilliant. I love that.
I love it.
Oh god. Okay. Does anybody have any last questions for Dan? I do see one from Melissa. This is a good one. Dan,
Okay.
in season 5, where it was revealed that Anoush was dating Vanessa and the fight scene between you and Louis, was that a surprise to you?
In season 5, it was revealed that Anoush was dating Vanessa, and the fight scene between you and Louis, was that a surprise to you? Yes, absolutely. It was a surprise to me. I remember when I was told, I think John Hurwitz and I were having a drink, and he was telling me, you're going to have a love interest. And I was like, come on. And I just thought it was so fun. I did not know that, the dream is always that you're going to get a fight scene in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So, it's no matter how little it is, if you're fighting on Cobra Kai, it's so badass. So when we saw that, I remember me and Brett, I called him and he called me, and we were like, oh my God, did you see? We're going to be fighting. So we got so excited about it. But yeah, no, it's always a surprise. And it's, the cool thing is when we get our scripts, I only get the scripts that I'm in. So I have no idea what's happening in the other, like what the kids are doing or whatever. Like none of that is on my radar. So I am just like all of you, up at midnight waiting for it to drop on Netflix. And I binged the show in one day, like a degenerate in my underwear, just languishing on the couch. And I love the show as much as you guys do. And it's so entertaining to me too.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we love you as Anoush, as Falafel Phil, as the new writer of Undercooked.
That's it.
Once again, everybody, Undercooked by Dan Ahdoot is out now. You can get it on, where can everyone get it? Amazon,
your local bookstore will have it if you want to go and actually get it and support them. It is actually cool to support them. I was just in New York. I went to every bookstore that it was carried in, and I signed books, and everyone was super nice and super cool. And if you ever are gonna come see me at a show or whatever, bring the book and I'll sign it for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we have the link is down in the description, so you guys can go get the book and leave your review for Dan.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, Dan, I just want to thank you so much again for joining me for this live interview. This was a lot of fun, and once again, congratulations on the book and all of your success. Big fan here of Kicking It, Cobra Kai, and now your new book. I'm amazed with what you do, and I definitely hope to see you do stand up. This was one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
streams. Like this
We-
was so funny.
We got to make that happen. By the way, I think this is my first live stream interview ever. So thank you very much. Thank you for doing what you do and for keeping the fans engaged in the show. It's awesome that you have created this this little empire for yourself. I love it. So, you know, you somehow took stalking and made money out of it, which is amazing. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. Ronan McGames, you live in New York City. There are signed copies if you want at the Barnes & Noble in Tribeca and on 14th Street, and at the McNally bookstore in Williamsburg, and at the Three of Cups in the West Village. So there's signed copies all over New York City if you need to get them.
Yeah. And thank you so much for your kind words. You know, I'm honored to be the #1 stalker of Cobra Kai. And when you're, if you're on season 6 in your trailer and you run out of toilet paper,
Yeah.
I got you, Dan.
Oh no.
I got you.
Somebody call the police. Somebody on this
I got
conversation.
you, Dan.
Somebody please pay $5 to call 911. I'll pay you $5.
Oh my god. This is so fun. Thank you.
So much fun.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Drew. Such a pleasure.
Of course, a pleasure. I do want to say goodbye to you after I end the stream, but we will wrap up. Where can everyone find you on social media?
So it's at Stand Up Dan everywhere, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. At Stand Up Dan is the place to go. And again, you can get the book wherever you get books. It's all over the place.
Yes. So remember to get your copy of Dan Ahdoot's new book, Undercooked. Dan, I like to end these streams with Cobra Kai Never Dies. You think you could take us out with that?
Let's do it, baby.
All right. We'll see you next time on Cobra Kai Kid. And until then, remember,
Cobra Kai never dies.